let me tell you why we are in the predicament that we are right now as far as freight wise. So here we are. Let's read a little bit of a news, okay? Headline is U.S. freight volumes falls to lowest levels in 9 years. Don't just go with the title like that. You have to read the actual article, okay? So I highlighted some of the key articles that are the key points in this article itself. Why the federal increase in interest rates affected everything, you know. So, fourth quarter freight shipments fell to the lowest level since the first quarter in 2014 as consumer spending continued to shift to services from goods, according to new report. So, basically, what they're talking about there is that people are now out of pandemic. A lot of it is now out of the pandemic that people are now shifting to doing services and other things instead of buying stuff. The U.S. Bank Freight Index report for the fourth quarter of 2022 shows that shipments declined by 7.1% from the same period in 2021 and by 4.6% from the third quarter of 2022. Meanwhile, freight spending rose by 1.8% in the fourth quarter from the same period in 2021. The spending fell by 0.2 from the third quarter. Now let's read this next one right here. According to DAT, truckload van spot rates are down by 23% in January from the same month in 2022. 23%, that's a lot. Okay, the rates fell by 1.1% in January from December. Okay, that's just a small percentage, but the key takeaway there is from last year and the same period in January to this year's same period in January, it's down by 23%. That's a lot, you know. So capacity tightened at the end of January, stemming from some of the declining rates on the spot market, which makes a lot of sense, right? Now, let's read this last one I highlighted here. While household spending in goods has fallen, housing activity has declined also. Decrease in new home construction and existing home sales have affected freight volumes. Also, manufacturing activity has slowed, creating another headwind for freight volumes. If you just stick with me, there's a point here. I'm providing you the context, okay? But basically, everything has gone down by at least 23% freight volume wise, okay? That's a big hit. When you're talking about in 2021, they estimated the trucking industry at 800 something billion-dollar industry, right? Revenue wise. And imagine that down by 23%. That's a lot. 23% hit is a lot in comparison to where we at right now. Okay, so basically what it amounts to is that people are out and about now. The people that are consuming a lot when everyone was pretty much locked down or a lot of things are locked down is that they're no longer consuming that, right? So makes sense. So based on that article, I mean, you can't, a lot of people are blaming people that are like, okay, you're hauling cheap freight, that's why the freight is low or the freight rates are down or whatever, right? In the spot market, this is the reason why it's a spot market. You know, it's gonna go up and it's gonna go down based on demand. So if you don't have like contract works and stuff like that, you know, it's just you're not gonna have a steady rate when it comes to the market. So it's a lot of people seem to think like it's these people that are hauling cheap. Now, yes, that's true. But if you are in the same predicament as these people that so-called hauling cheap freight, if you got to make a payment, you got to do this, you got to feed your family, man, let me tell you something. You're going to haul as much cheap freight as you want. I guarantee you that's what you're going to do because your main goal is to eat and feed your family. Now let's take a look at the load board and see how we can pick the load board apart, right? So let's log into the DAT. This is Trucker's Edge, okay? This is the middle subscription. We don't need to go very, very high unless you want to look at like lane contracts and whatnot. But other than that, that's it. This is all we need right here because what I like on this part of the subscription is the fact that you can see like 30-day average, and that's not, don't make sure you don't look at that as like something written in stone. You have to be able to adjust and alleviate from there. Alleviating from towards the bottom is not suggested, but alleviating towards the top is more, ideal, I guess you could say that. So when you log in to Trucker's Edge, this is the first thing that you would see right here. This is all the same. They just call it different names on their subscription. So this is what I see right here. This right here, I'm gonna go ahead and highlight it. This part right here, where it shows you the loads that are coming in and coming out for every state and every whatever you want to look for, let's go say van, okay? It shows you the loads that are coming in and out. So, so you can plan, you can execute better, pre-plan better when you're dispatching your trucks out. So, me, I've only had one truck, but I still use this because this gives you a good idea on where to send trucks, on how to send trucks, when to send, it's an amazing tool, this part right here. That's why I don't like Truck Stop that much, because I don't know, I have not logged into Truck Stop website. I don't know if they provide you this data right here, but I know Trucker's Edge does, So that might be a video I'm willing to do, because I'm still paying for Truck Stop. I re-signed back up on Truck Stop and I'm not even using it. So anyway, let's look at look at Alabama. Alabama for van is no good, right? I think we want to get to like Illinois to look at the van side. So Illinois, I mean, look at these. Look how low those. I wish I had a snapshot on what had happened like in 2021. I guarantee you in 2021, that's probably triple the size of those numbers right there, especially these outgoing numbers. That's probably triple the size, And let's look at Texas. Texas is where it's at really, but where people are hauling cheap freight, it actually does apply in Texas. It's just, the thing is just, we have a lot less freight and a lot more trucks for every load, So that's where our problem is really. It's just there's way too many trucks now, During the pandemic, there's a lot less trucks on the road because a lot less company drivers are out there. Now that everybody is full blown working, we got this problem right here, But don't worry though, you can still navigate through it. You just gotta be more active on the load board. Really, that's what I've been seeing. Is just as long as you're active on the load board and you keep looking at that load board, you barely take your eyes off that load board for 1 second. Now you're working a little bit extra harder, but it pays off. Let me segue a little bit. Right, there was something I was seeing on the news, on some of the headlines, just within the past couple of weeks or so, that there's a lot of things going on in trucking, man. Y'all be careful out there, trust me. So let's continue on looking at this at the load board, right? So I moved it over into the flatbed side. You can select a lot of these, you can select the reefer too or whatever, right? But I moved it over into the flatbed side, and look how much more freight do we have as far as flatbed. See that? I mean, it's just insane amount, right? So let's look at Texas. Let's take a look at Texas and see what we got going on here. Highest offer. This is only flatbed, remember that. Flatbed only. So you see right here, where this part right here, you don't want to mess with these people. Anything with a dash on there that has nothing but a dash on there, there are some that are legit loads like that, but I highly advise you to just stay the hell away from them. Trust me, man. A lot of times there are probably going to be some new MC. Actually, this one is not new MC. So let's take a look at them. CEO offices, Arson Enterprise Inc. So, man, I don't want to bore you guys with all this information, but it's just this is information. Oh, okay, so maybe their direct shipper broker is active. Oh, never mind. Okay, so there are active brokers. No review or anything like that, and it looks like it was 2020. They became active in 2020 or something like that. Anyway, let's look at some loads like right here, like even at a market such as this. Look at this, right? When you see a check mark on there, that means it's factorable by OTR Solutions. Okay, OTR Solutions is partnered with DAT. Let's take a look at this. Their transformers and flatbed or step deck is 30 foot in size, and it looks like it's about 25,000 pounds. It should be just straps. Okay, just straps and go. That's what this is. But just look at this. We're going into from Laredo, Texas, going into Florida. As you can see, that Florida, if you look back, if you go back into Florida, just keep in mind this rate right here: 2,300 miles, 2,400 miles for $6,200. Okay, that's what they wanting on that. Let's see. Let's look at Florida. Look at Florida. That's not bad, you know. I mean, we got quite a bit of freight coming out of Florida, so I would say that's not bad. Let's look at the offer. So you want to go from Florida into $2 a mile, $2 a mile. This one is $2 a mile. Man, that's rough, man. $2 a mile. It's all $2 a mile, and if we look at the average on that, actually, that's way over average right there. Anybody that like you see this average right there, that's just the average. So there's people that actually haul that lane from Tampa, Florida to around the Washington area. Somebody hauled that lane for 5,900, and that's 3,200 miles. You know, that's rough, man. That's really rough. And they actually hauled that for a lot less. You know that, right? If it says average on there, they hauled that for a lot less than that. You know, probably a few hundred less than 5,900, and that's not good. I would never ever haul that unless that's some kind of partial, you know. I mean, it's not partial, but it's like 30 foot for like 10,000 pounds, you know. Yeah, maybe, and then I can add some more in the trailer, right? But other than that, man, there's no way, right? So and this is where we at though. It's like it seemed like it would be a good idea to go from Laredo to Florida because of the amount of freight that's coming out of both states, but yet the RPM does not agree with us. You know, I mean, God goodness, I don't like that. So Alabama is actually where it's at. Take a look at Alabama on flatbed side. So Alabama is showing that we have 3,000 outgoing loads coming out of there. Let's look at the offer here. Let's go to the highest offer. Going to Spokane, Washington from Alabama, from Fulton, Alabama, which is about 2,400 miles, yeah? And average on that is 6,300, and they're offering, oh, man. That's still under $3 a mile, man. You cannot, like, you don't want to go to Spokane and go $3 a mile. We ran out of room on our memory card, but here we go. Spokane, right? So we left off from Spokane. So I'm filtering Spokane, coming from Spokane within a 100-mile radius, right? And this is what we got right here. So as far as mileage wise, I mean, as far as like rate wise, it looks like they are averaging about $2 a mile, which is kind of terrible, believe it or not. Look at this. Look at this. So from there, and look at the 30-day average is 3,000, and the sad thing is, like, it seemed like all of these brokers, especially in an area like Spokane and stuff like that, or from that particular area, specifically lumber, it seemed like all of these people are in cahoots. Like broker wise, I don't know if they have some kind of freaking centralized area where they all talk and agree on a rate. Be like, okay, we're not, because I have made thousands of calls coming from Spokane, man. It hasn't been easy. I tell you that. Coming from Spokane is not easy coming out of there with a decent rate. You know, that's why when you come into Spokane, you should be coming in there swinging. You know what I'm saying? You should be coming in there making over $4 a mile. You know, I would say. I mean, depending. I guess it depends on where you're coming from. If you're coming from Columbus, you better be coming in there for over through $4 a mile. From Ohio to Spokane area. You know, it's man. It's just that's why lane is so important. Make sure you study your lane. You cannot you're not I mean you'll have an idea on how much lanes should pay, and that's why you have your guideline, your 30-day average, because even though you have an idea on how much you want to run, you cannot deviate too much from your 30-day average. You know, a lot of your dispatchers, they will be out there talking about, you know, hey, I have direct customers, I have this, I have that, you know, I can get you this, I can get you that. Listen, if your dispatcher is working off of this, the DAT load board, or any type of load board for that matter, I guarantee you the 30-day average is going to be the guideline. That's why me personally, I always push for upwards the 30-day average. So if something, let's say, is on 30-day average, and let's say I really got to get out of here, right? My carrier has to get out of here. You know, I would explain to my carrier that our 30-day average is 3,000. Can we get to to that particular lane from Princeton, Idaho to Denver, Colorado? Can I get you out of there for 34? Can we see if we can get you out of there for 34? You know, those are the kind of things that I think I'm gonna be doing, because you cannot deviate too much from the 30-day average. Like, the only time that you can actually deviate from the 30-day average is when that hot load has to go. In lumber, it's not gonna be hot load, so just keep that in mind. You know, and in Spokane, it's nothing but lumber. And this just shows you that there's not a lot of construction going on, and it's construction season already now. There's not a lot of construction going on. There's not a lot of demand for lumber, you know. So we're in for a bigger problem, I think, if you ask me. Okay, so this video has gone way too long than I expected it. I always talk more than what I anticipate. But anyway, I hope that was informative. You know, this is how I'm going to look at the load board. This is how I've always looked at the load board. You always have to be mindful of what is going on in the market. The market, especially, like I said, in the spot market, things change constantly. But other than that, man, that's hopefully a really quick, you know, informative look at the load board, on how I process information, on how I process things, numbers, and information given based on the load board, because there's a lot out there. Trust me, there is a lot out there, and I know how it feels. When I first looked at the load board, and I'm like, man, where the heck am I gonna start, you know? But I'm telling you, it gets easier in time. So if you like this kind of content, make sure you hit the subscribe button, you hit the like button, and you hit that bell button, and we will see y'all in the next video. Bam!